Hey everyone, welcome to our Friday Bitcoin video. It's about 2:57 p.m. We have 1 hour left in the trading week in stocks, and we are looking for a little bit of volatility to come into the market this weekend. It's going to be a very interesting one, and I want to talk a little bit about what my plans are here. I want to take a look at the market. I want to take a look at Bitcoin, and of course, before I get into any of this, is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, manage your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. All right, so I've got this outline for us here. I still think we need to make another push for 9K. We push in just a little bit beyond 9K. I think we need to, since we've already pushed down this far, I think we need to push for the 9,000 stops. We need to move ourselves back down there. I think it's going to happen. I do think it's going to happen. I'm looking at the charts here on Coinbase, and I'm seeing the hourly. I'm seeing some major, some bearish, hidden bearish divergence on the hourly here. So let me just outline this here for a moment. I'm going to get rid of some of this other stuff that we've got on here just so that we can see this a little bit better. I'm going to get rid of the 3-hour. I'm going to get rid of the 12-hour. I'm going to get rid of my RSI. All right, so let's just take a look at this. We've got our high back here. Okay, so we had a high back there at about 99.75 or so. Then we pulled back, and then we have our corrective move to the upside. All right, and then what do we have here? Our Stoke has actually created a higher high. At least within comparison to the prior high on price. So we've got a much lower high on price, and then we have a significant higher high on the Stoke. And actually, this high on the Stoke, if you look back into the history, all right, so we have our high right around right there. Looking left, we haven't been that high. Let me just keep on going here, because what I can see, let me just remove my market top and bottom here. What I'm seeing here is we haven't created this high of a high on our Stoke in a while. So let me do it this way. Put that there and put a horizontal line. It's not going to let me do that on the indicator panel. Okay, all right. So basically, the last time we saw highs on the hourly Stoke up here would be back here in this range, which is when we were up here. We had a nice significant move to the upside, right? This is an impulse, whereas this is just corrective, okay? Significant move to the upside here. And then before that, the last time we had the Stokes, this high was all the way back here. Again, impulse to the upside, not corrective. It was an impulsive move to the upside when we had the Stoke this high on the hourly. And so we have hidden bearish divergence that we've identified on this. And therefore, I believe that we still, again, are probably going to come back down here to these lows. I think what that is going to do is that's going to finish a correction, at least the first part of the correction, okay? This is what I think is going to happen here, guys. So right now, we basically have 5 waves down, and then A, B, C into the B, and then we are going to be coming back down here to finish off this C, okay? Let me just put this on the smallest degree that we've got, or maybe one up here, because I want to talk about what this is that's being created here. I do think that we do have a finishing 5 up here, okay? I think we finished that move. That's our 5. That's our top there at about 10,005, 10,428. Now, what do we see here? I'm actually seeing algos in play. And what I'm taking is I'm taking this dominant pivot high to this dominant pivot low, and look where we got rejected again, right here, right at the 618, right in the golden zone. Literally, it was perfect. It's perfect. We punched up here right in the golden zone. The 65 was at $10,021, and we got to $10,018. Okay, so here we are. Here we are. Now we have our next impulsive move down. Now, what I'm still trying to piece together is if this move is completed, because you could dig a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of this, it's not pretty, and you got to go to like a really low time frame for that to happen. But at the same time, this move down here happened very fast as well. I'm not a real big fan of this move. I'm not a real big fan of this move. It's just hard to count it in a clean way. But what I can say that I see is a sign of an A, B, C right here. Okay, so if that's the case, then what I think we are looking at right now is from up here, a 1, a 2, we work on the 3, going up for the 4, and I think the 4 is in, and then we're going to come down for the 5. All right, so let's just see, how technical this is. We know the algo target for this move is sitting down here at 9,000. We had a front run of it. I actually think we're going to go back down there, right? So I've got some bids sitting down here because I think we're going to get there. I do think we're going to get there. And probably we're going to kind of overextend it. The algo target is sitting there at 89.91, 89.90. I think it's possible that we go a little bit lower. So let's go ahead and take this. If this is going to be the top of our 2, we go down, we're going to say this is our 3. We came back, about to the 50. We overextended the 50 a little bit. Is it possible that we get to the 618? Very. It is very possible we get to the 618 because if this is an A, B, C, and then this is our B, so we have an A, B, and then we're going to go up for the C, I can see us getting up here to the 618. The level that we have to pay attention to for this to remain bearish is this one right here. If we cross 9,700, if we touch 96.90, then this was the bottom, more than likely. And we're probably going to be moving up a little bit more. But again, I'm expecting this to be an A, B, C of a larger corrective cycle. Daniel, thank you. Appreciate that. You joining from Luxembourg. Thanks for joining. Okay, so again, I believe that this is an A, B, and then we are still working on the C. I do believe we are going to be putting in a 5-wave structure down. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. We're probably going to bounce ourselves back up here to about 94, 94.50 maybe. But we really shouldn't go beyond 95.50. Now we can still get up here to 96.21. 96.90 is the last point of defense there. I do believe we are going to come down here. Possible algo target down here at about 88.25. So somewhere down here, I'm expecting there to be significant buying pressure. So right here in this range is where I would be interested to see a bullish reaction. Okay, I'm expecting there to be a bullish reaction down here. Do I have bids down here? I sure do. Are we going to get down there? That still remains to be seen. I believe, based on what I can see here on the Stokes, that we are going to be moving down at least a little bit. I don't have a buy on the 12-hour just quite yet. Even though we're moving up, we're correcting up, the 12-hour is still crossed. And again, we talked about this yesterday. How the 12-hour basically signaled a warning to sell, right before we had a major move to the downside. And that took a little bit of a loss compared to the buy that rolled in right here. Okay, so we had a buy up here. Technically, it triggered at about 97.75. The sell triggered here at about 97.11. Okay, so there was a loss of about, I don't know, $60 per coin on this. But look at what you prevented. Okay, this is why stop losses are important and why you should really pay attention to technicals. Again, I do think we are going to be moving back down here. I think it's likely. Now, is it also likely that we go up here to the 618? It's very possible. It's very possible. I have a small micro-sized long that I opened up. It was actually right around here, so it's at a little bit of a loss right now, but it's a very, very small long compared to the short that I have. But just in case this does come up here to 618, I'll be taking profit and getting out of that position here at about 96.25 if we get there. Okay, I don't want to see us get up there because that puts us at risk of closing above 9,700. I would like for this to be just 1, 2, and then we're going to go in for the 3, 4, 5. Okay, so in other words, what do I want to see? This is what I want to see. From up here, I want to see a 1, a 2, a 3, to hit that low again, a 4, and then a 5, to come somewhere down here into this zone. Because what is that going to do? And of course, we're going to be expecting a move up from there. How high, that's to be determined. But what I'm expecting to see is a little bit something like this. This low right here, I expect this to get rated. Okay, and that's going to be at about 9,050. Okay, now I'm looking at Coinbase. Coinbase only got down to 9,050. Algo target is still sitting there about 89.91, just on the other side of 9K. So I expect this guy right here to do a deep pull down here below 9,000. Probably are going to bounce off of that, but then this level is going to be the next important zone compared to how this level is right now at 96.90. I'm going to be expecting this level to be the next important level to hold. And again, if that happens, this bounce, we only want this thing to come up, maybe about right here, about 92, then we can come down further, right? So we'll determine what our algo target is for that last wave, but I'm looking for anywhere between 88.25 and 89.90. Okay. Don't be here trying to catch the bottom. Don't try and catch falling knives. I would wait for a little bit of a curl. I'd wait for this to start to move up when it gets down here to the 9,000 range. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't be a hero and just set bids at 9,000 and just walk away. You still have to be careful because we don't know what's going to happen. It's very possible the thing just flies right through here. It's definitely possible if that happens. But what I believe that I see us doing here, based on the algo, we have this move, this big move down, a nice corrective move, a nice ABC into the B, and now we're working on our 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to come down here one more time. This is probably going to take a few days. Okay, just like in stocks, I was talking about how more than likely we're going to go down to about 290, 280, somewhere in that range, somewhere between 280, 290 by next Wednesday. So that's going to be, we're basically about, a little over 2 trading days away from that because we only have about 50 minutes left in the trading session today. Then we have Monday and Tuesday where I do think we're going to probably pull down just a little bit more. But I think Thursday and Friday next week in the stock market's going to be pretty bullish. That's just my gut feeling based on the open interest I see on options on SPY. So we've got that. This kind of flows right into it, right? So my timing isn't put in here perfectly. But if we're talking about, let's see here, what would that be? The 15th, the 17th, the 17th. So if we're talking about that, we're talking about the 17th being where this comes down. Let's just go ahead and line this up and see where we land. Okay, so if we're taking that to the 17th, we're going to pull this out further, and then what we're going to kind of see or expect to see here is this to take a little bit longer. Maybe this corrective move is going to take a little bit longer as well, but we're going to expect to see something a little bit like this over the weekend. It's possible we pump a little bit on the weekend. It still remains to be seen whether or not we're going to come up here and test this 96.21. But ultimately, I do think we're going to land down here between 88 and 9,000. Right, 88.25 and 9,000. This is a pretty wide range. We have a nice cluster of support down here. So if we do happen to go down a little bit further, this is where I would be setting stop losses, right over here, based on that low right there at about 86. So if you're going to try and catch something here, I would be looking to get out down here about 86, right? So it's a pretty wide stop, but if that's the case, if that's what's going to happen, okay, if we're going to come down here and we're going to stop, let's just say in a perfect world, we come down here to about 88, okay? Let's just pull this down and see where we're going to go from there. That would complete the first wave, so our first corrective wave. So that's the A. Then we're going to go up for the B. Likely this is going to come up to 96, maybe even to 98, okay? I don't know if this is going to be a flat or an expanded flat. If it's an expanded flat, we're going to come back up here to like maybe even 10,800 or 11,000. But if this thing only comes up here to the golden zone, we only come up to about 98 to 98.50, then we're going to see a nice move down to 80 84.50 or so. So very possible that this happens. You know, there's still a lot that can happen, right? I can't sit here and tell you guys we're going to come all the way down here to 88.25, and then we're going to go all the way up to 98.25, and then we're going to come all the way down to 84.50. I can't sit here and tell you that because nobody knows. But the technicals that I see here are showing that we are probably going to see, you know, maybe a move up to 96. But ultimately, I do think we're going to come down to at least 9 and test the stops at 9,000. Then we can see ourselves move up, and then we're going to probably come back down again. Longer term, I do expect that we're probably going to pull back significantly, but I'm not going to get caught in a bearish bias when things are still looking somewhat bullish. You know, even though we had a big sell-off yesterday, in the grand scheme of things, that was nothing. That was hardly anything. Let's just take a look at BLX here for just a moment. What we had was hardly anything. Okay, let's get that out of there. Okay, what did we have? You know, it seemed pretty drastic, but look at this. This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. Nothing that you should be concerned about. Nothing that is, you know, worrisome. You know, we're still finding support where we need to find it. So just take a look at this from this trend line right here. We're still honoring that trend line. So I can't be super bearish yet. Now, I do think we're going to fall further, but I just can't be bearish right now until we break down through some of these. And actually, if you take this, you can pull this guy out this much further, and you can see we've got some resistance here, and now that resistance is becoming support, and that's a diagonal support and resistance flip. So this is a bullish support that we're keeping here, and you know, again, this level right here, you know, if we can push up and out of this, I know we closed above it, but we pulled back significantly, and then we found that as resistance. But if we come back up to 9,900 or anywhere close to it, we're probably going to break through it and we're going to move up. So I can't be too bearish yet until we break down below this guy. This guy is super important. This is a, you know, again, you know, this is on BLX, but we'll just say for a moment that this is going to be at about 9,100. Right, we need to come down and close the daily below 9,100, especially today, in order for me to really get bearish. You know, I just have to be careful getting too bearish too quickly, just because we had a significant pullback. Yeah, we've got the 21 exponential at about 95.30, so we have that to contend with. It wouldn't surprise me one bit to come down here and test the 100 or the 200 that are sitting down there at 86. And actually, day by day, these are going higher and higher. We're getting continual bullish crosses on these moving averages, and so that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't think that there's need to be super bearish, but at the same time, you know, we just kind of have to wait and see if this trend line holds, and that trend line just happens to be at the 50 exponential. It's sitting there at about 9,078. So just being very careful. Let's see here. We broke the lower trend line, the one from the bottom that includes all the low wicks. Let's just take a look at that. All right, so let's look at that guy, which I do believe you're right. So we've got this guy right here, right? So I mean, you can look at this a couple different ways. I'm not really finding. Yeah, this one right here is probably the one that you're referring to. We've got this wick here. We've got this bottom here. We've got this wick here. We kind of have this wick right here, and we did break down. So yeah, we're probably going to be inside of this range. If this is bullish, I'm not saying it is bullish, but I'm also not saying it's bearish based on this right here. Probably going to retest that. If we don't pull through that second time, we're probably going to do something like this. But what I kind of expect to happen is to have this test here, then we break down, and then we test this guy, and then we can come down further. I mean, it's going to take some time, so I'm not going to rush into anything. You know, I am short from up here when we had that spike up to almost 10K. I did go ahead and take some shorts at 9,000 and I averaged in a little bit lower because I added to my position as we were starting to break structure. But yeah, just be careful not to don't try and mold technical analysis to fit your viewpoint. You know, if I was trying to make technical analysis fit my viewpoint, I would get rid of this trend line and I would say, yeah, we broke down. Now we're just going to go all the way down here to 7,000, right? But at the same time, you know, I'm looking at this from the perspective that we've got all of these guys right here, and we are doing nothing more than just doing a bullish test. Again, resistance, 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 support, support, support. So now what's going to happen next? Well, we know we have this top here that we have to push up through, which we've had resistance, resistance. We tried to punch through, but we were rejected swiftly. Then we tried to hit it again, and we got rejected, okay? But we're still holding this support. So until this breaks, I'm gonna continue to lean bearish because my entry is decent, but I'm also going to be looking to get some hedged long positions on that retest of 9,000, which I think we are going to get. Just my gut feeling. Let's see here. I think that's all I really wanted to document today. So 20 minutes is long enough to talk about Bitcoin. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to pop in the Discord. If you don't have an invite to our Discord, just throw in a comment here. It'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, good evening. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and take care. Have a good weekend.